Gamebreaker TV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the world premiere of the Raid documentary brought to you by GameBreaker.tv, Typefrag, and of course, Curse.com. You know them from such sites as MMOChampion.com to get all your World of Warcraft news.
Yeah. I think my ears is ringing. Gary, did you say MMO Champion? Because if you're looking for one, you know your boy Darnell right here. Haha, yeah.
Hey, Darnell. We're kind of in the middle of premiering this World of Warcraft documentary right now.
Yeah, you know, I heard something about this movie going on here tonight about the World of Warcraft, you know, so I asked myself, I said, Self, you remember being in any kind of movie about the World of Warcraft? And I said, nah. Well, you know, except this Blues greatest machinemas of all time.
I think they kind of started the documentary a little bit before you were sort of famous and all, you know, Hollywood and all.
Well, then don't you think someone should have kind of thought to themselves, we got a big star on the scene, we should just go ahead and wrap everything up and, you know what I'm saying, re-roll.
Re-roll? Re-roll what?
Man, you know, re-roll and roll with the #1 superstar Wild Donkey Season 1 through 17 ludicrous gladiator of all time, me.
I don't know, Darnell. Maybe, like, you know, if Kevin decides to do a Raid documentary 2, I could suggest that he call your agent and maybe get in touch.
Oh, really, Gary? What are you gonna call that stuff? Oh, the Raid 2, the search for more fat nerds. Come on now, Gary. Everyone knows that sequels is always bad, except for Rush Hour 2. The hell y'all thinking? Man, we're gonna close all this stuff down, because y'all is crazy. Right? That's it. Everyone go home. Good night. Thank you for coming.
Go home, Darnell. There's like thousands of people here watching, waiting for the world premiere of the Raid. They've been waiting weeks, if not actually months for this. We can't just tell people to go home.
Man, trying to hear all that crybaby stuff. Come, hold up. How many people?
Thousands, Darnell, thousands. There's thousands of people watching.
Oh, damn, he ain't playing. Oh, well then, okay. Y'all should probably watch my show, Bliss Blues, on GameBreaker.tv every Tuesday mornings, and hope y'all enjoy the show. Back to you, Gary. I ain't thought this could be any good with know your boy Darnell and nothing but that old poofy head law.
Welcome to the Raid premiere right here on GBTV, GameBreaker.tv. I'm Gary Gannon, of course. This is GameBreaker.tv. Joining me tonight, too bad it wasn't Mr. Darnell, but joining me tonight, the one, the only, you know him from GBTV's Legendary, of course, Mr. Mike B, aka Phony. How are you, sir? Look at you dressed up as well.
Thank you very much, sir. Got the purple tie out for this. It's a special occasion.
Very,
too bad I'm not
nice.
Darnell. Thanks for just playing it down like that. It's just Mike B.
It's just Mike B. And joining us for the pre-show event here tonight, the director, while we're all here, Mr. Kevin Michael Johnson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's exciting to be here. I can't even believe Darnell turned out. That's it's quite an honor, actually.
He doesn't turn out for a whole lot of things, you know. It's kind of an honor when he actually kind of shows up for your event, so it's pretty amazing.
Definitely.
So, it's your night. The first time ever the Raid documentary gets shown to the world live with, I don't know, close to 15,000 of your best friends. How do you feel, buddy?
Yeah, it's been a long road coming. I am so excited, actually, to finally get to share it with people. It's been a long road, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about that, but I'm excited. I'm very, very proud of it. It's far more than I ever thought it would be when I initially started. It's really cool, and it's definitely a testament to, I think, the value and of the community that surrounds a game like World of Warcraft, MMOs in general. So I'm excited to share it with the world finally, and even get some feedback and just sort of hear people's thoughts. So it's an exciting night for sure. It's crazy. I think I missed the dress code though. I'm like sitting in my pajama pants here, and
Holy, not even close.
yeah, it's crazy. I should have dressed up a little more, I think.
That's all right. That's all right. You're the director. You're allowed to show up, you know, in the t-shirt because it's cool. You know, you're in Brad Pitt. So tell me a little bit, what inspired you to actually, like, you know, go out and want to make a documentary about World of Warcraft and raiding in more specifically?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, I mean, I grew up as a video game kid, but I had a huge section of my young adulthood where I didn't play games. But out of college, I got really fascinated by, you know, what I was hearing about MMO gaming, games like EverQuest, of course, Second Life, and World of Warcraft. And so I would read about them, and finally I was like, man, I just got to figure out what's going on with these games. You know, and I started downloading clients and checking them out, and was very, very interested, just even casually at the beginning. But what kind of opened my eyes was actually jumping on the World of Warcraft forums and trying to, figure out how to play my character. Of course, I was a little warrior in Elwyn Forest, just hacking up wolves and, oh, this is cute. Oh, there's another player. That's really cool. That's fun. But then I hopped on the forums to try to learn how to play my character, and I came across a sticky guide by Ciderhelm called Fortifications, and it was this like 33-page diatribe on raiding and how to spec your character and stacking stamina for this type of fight, stacking avoidance for this type of fight. There was some calculus in there, and he was talking about the importance of being a tank and what that means almost from a philosophical level. And I was like, wow, I'm killing gnolls in Elwyn. What the heck is he talking about? I don't even understand.
You started this off with going to the forums. I thought this was going to end in a much worse note. Like, going to the forums to ask for help. I was like, ugh!
Right, no. So it was basically that was a huge open window into a world that I was like, I got to figure out what this is. And, I leveled up and basically got started with following Ciderhelm on TankSpot right when he was starting to build that site, and was a real part of kind of that community growing to what it is now. And so that kind of began sort of opening my eyes to how big this was, how involved an experience like raiding is, both from a technical standpoint, also from an organizational standpoint. I was fascinated. Then, of course, I got into raiding and raided in early Lich King, or Wrath of Lich King, with Eventide, Ciderhelm's guild. We raided, we did the whole meta achievement for the first tier of content there. And I was like, man, I would run into conversations with my family where they would say, what is it you're doing? Why do you have to be home at this time? I don't get it. And I'd be like, gosh, how do I explain this? Okay, so there's a lot of people.
How do I explain this and not sound like I'm I'm completely crazy and out of my mind? I'm going to go home and play this video game, but, it's kind of a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, so and it's such an interesting private experience, right? How do you open the experience to someone who's never seen it before in a way that they can catch exactly how complicated it is, how social it is? Just all the nuances that surround the sense of community and accomplishment and all of that. How do you do that? And, that was honestly where, in trying to explain it to my family, where I was like, look, someone has to try to shine a light on this very hidden experience and bring some sort of clarity to people who have no idea what it is, instead of just calling it oh, that's a video game. Why are you playing this video game?
So that was sort of your inspiration behind feeling the need to kind of tell a story and try to explain. So was the motivation to try and explain to a lot of people outside the MMO community just what this is all about and the culture that surrounds it? Absolutely.
Yeah. There was just not enough words to articulate all those details. You really have to show it. And even then, showing it, as I have come to find out, is an incredibly complicated ordeal.
It's an experience. It's totally an experience playing with other players online. If you show that to somebody, it's just so all those other people, whatever, it's just that they don't quite understand that everything you're doing is relying on the other person. From a PvP perspective, it's everything relies on your buddy next to you. And if you try to tell somebody, yeah, this other guy's playing a game too with me, it's kind of I don't get it. I don't understand. They have to experience it.
Yeah, exactly. Which, how complicated is that? That's when, and of course, as the penultimate dreamer, I'm like, oh, we can do this. Let's get webcams and let's record in and I'll record audio, and we'll just sync it all up and make it work, and we'll have really great professionals talk about it, and that was sort of the idea, and man, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
So how did you actually? All right, so you got the inspiration to make this, and you wanted to tell this story. So how did you actually just start it? Wow, how did you raise money for it? Films, documentaries aren't cheap to make. So how did you just get it off the ground?
Yeah, it started from a very small idea. It was I want to make a 10-minute film that is really high quality, sort of like a prove myself kind of film, but I wanted it to be high quality, so I set a pretty high goal of raising money through Kickstarter, which I'm sure a lot of people know of now. Back then it was kind of just getting off the ground, but it's basically a grassroots sort of fundraising website where you can pitch your project online, put a video, and set a fundraising goal and go for it, basically. And that's what I did, and I got to tell you, I was astounded by the response. I did a couple preview videos where I kind of said, look, this is the tone, this is the quality I'm going to go for in this film. and people just started to rally around, and I raised way more money than I intended, which had me thinking, oh gosh, well then this needs to be something more than I even envisioned. And then I got a call from one of my most loyal partners in this whole process, and that is actually Typefrag, the company. They got in touch with me and essentially were like, we love what you want to do. We want to make sure it's an absolute, success. However we can help you, let's do this. And they have just been, a constant support and encouragement all along the road. So they were like the next, tier up of like, okay, I got to step up my game. Let's do this huge. And then it just sort of steamrolled from there, and people were like, let's do a pre-screening at BlizzCon, last year.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
We saw the pre-screening.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to deliver. How am I going to do this? Like,
You're like, whoa, the Kickstarter got me the money. I actually have to make this thing work. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
you're jumping
really-
forward because now you already got caught. Wait, slow down.
I'm sorry,
First of all, really
sorry.
quick, you mentioned Typefrag, and we got to thank Typefrag. They're doing some giveaways courtesy of Typefrag, and I know a lot of people in the stream are wondering how you get those. Stay tuned for the post show after we actually watch the Raid documentary, and all will be revealed of how you enter to win the Doghouse computer, the headsets, and there's going to be some other cool stuff given away. There's actually an after party Typefrag is going to be throwing, so we'll tell you a little bit about that. So stay tuned coming up after. So let's just jump back for a second, because before BlizzCon, let's back up a second and unpack some of this. I want to know about so when did the production actually start? Like year, month? When did you get actually rolling on production?
Yeah, so the Kickstarter campaign, I believe, ended in sometime in March. So we started shooting with months behind. I think it was early March, and we filmed for about 3 months. And that was basically the goal. The thought is, okay, everyone's got to be on webcams and recording all the time. And here's hard drives. You guys, each of you get 1 terabyte hard drive to store data, and a 350, I don't know, maybe it was 500 gigabyte drive that you'll send back and forth to me, and we'll handle files that way, like via mail. And that's kind of the way it started. And
how did you pick those guys? How did you find out about months behind and even
Laura's hair.
Yeah,
That's
Laura's
why.
hair was just so epic that you just like.
He was like,
"We
this
need
guy's gonna look
Laura."
amazing with a huge light just right in the back. Just to light that thing up.
Yeah, I know. It's you're right. It's like, how can you turn it down? But no. So it actually began on TankSpot. So those guys, when I first pitched the idea, I pitched it to Cider Helm. I wanted to do it with Eventide because that was the guild I was in. I was like, let's do it with you, Cider. You and Eventide. Let's do it with this group. And of course, Cider was crazy busy with TankSpot. There was no way. He wanted to do it, but there was just no way. And so I started with basically community authors on TankSpot. I talked to Zav, actually, from Premonition, and he was all gung-ho. He was like, absolutely, let's do this. And then I was like, well, it involves webcams, like putting webcams in your home and like filming you guys doing your thing. And he's like, well, let me talk to my dudes, and he was like, oh, no, they don't want to do that. So I was like, oh, shoot, okay. So then it just kind of went on from there. I talked to a couple other guilds through TankSpot authors, and we had a little private forum on TankSpot, and I'm like, guys, I don't know what to do, and I was like, let me talk to my guys and see if they want. And so sure enough, they were all really interested. I hopped on Vent with them, had a real heart-to-heart. I said, look, you guys, this is going to involve a lot of work on your part. You're essentially going to be part of the production. You're going to have to shoot your webcams. You're going to have to answer all my pre-raid questions. We would do pre-raid questions before every raid, and then try to get their feeling on how the progression's going, sort of talking to the camera type of thing. And they were all like, we can handle this. No big deal. It's going to be fine. We're good at putting things in the mail. We're really good at mailing you things. And
Little did they know how much work actually going into this. They're like, no, man, we're making a real documentary here. It's like a real deal.
I'm like, guys, mail me your stuff, please, because I need it. I just, it's hard. Actually, a project like this, it's really... it's crazy to think that you're going to get 10 people responsible for actually shooting your film, right? And they're not the filmmaker. So that's kind of the weird part about this project is I really, really appreciate what those guys did. I mean, they really have put themselves out there, number one. MMOs are a very private experience, right? Like, that's kind of the joy of it, to be able to sit in your underwear and, like, play games but still be social and do awesome things. And so these guys are like, no, we put ourselves out there. That's great. And so that's number one thing I was impressed with. Number two was just their, their stick-to-itiveness. Like, it was a long process. And
how long was the production? How long was the whole process that you guys did filming for?
Yeah, we did in-game stuff for about 3 months, and then kind of all along there, I was taking trips all across the country and into Canada even to shoot them in high definition, like one-on-one
all the interviews and stuff. Yeah,
I'm floored that you got 10 people to actually get up and mail stuff out. Like, you can't even get 10 people to show up on time for anything anymore. And you got people to actually leave the house and mail stuff out.
Mike, it was not easy. I'm telling you.
I think a big round of applause to Months Behind for being part of the Raid event and mailing stuff. Thank you for mailing stuff.
Stress, like I think I lost a couple of years with anxiety.
You didn't need them anyway.
So bring me forward now. Like, I know, this has been a long time in the making, and it's also been a long time in the post-production process and editing and stuff like that. So you showed an edit of this last year at BlizzCon 2010. Mike and I were actually at it and got to see at the House of Blues party. You showed us a cut, which was really great then, and it's changed since then. But so there's obviously been some hurdles, throughout trying to get this film out, and so I think a lot of fans have been like, well, what's going on? You did this during Wrath, and we're at Kata. So what have been the hurdles? What's the delay? What's taken so long for this actually to hit the world?
Yeah, that's a terrific question, and I think so. Part of it is the fact that I'm insane in the way that I like to set the bar for whatever it is I do very, very high, and that's a problem when you're getting into something you don't know anything about, like this I didn't know how to shoot and light and edit before I did this film.
So you weren't a filmmaker before this, essentially?
Oh, no, not at all. No, I was an actor. I just wasn't. So it was a crazy process, and a lot of learning for me. So I started out as a one-man band, essentially. I had a friend, Stuart McMichael, who is very experienced on sort of the fundraising side of filmmaking, and he was just a huge counsel to me. He's a lawyer, like incredible help. So he was sort of my counsel all the way through, and like all of a sudden it was like, we got to do this thing for BlizzCon, and I'm like, oh gosh, how am I going to produce assets that are like cool and posters and like lower thirds that actually look awesome? I don't know how to do that stuff. And man, just these people started coming out of the woodwork of my life, some of them from very distant corners and some of them from very intimate places of like friends who just were like, we believe in you, we want to do this. But number one is Hugo Creative. I got to thank these guys. They're an incredibly talented group of people. They basically are a small design firm that essentially got on board with what I was doing. Their website, you all should check them out. Well, not now, but Hugo Creative, you should look them up. Amazing. They basically got on and were like, we're going to see you through this thing, and they helped produce all the sort of visual assets for the film. So it was this process of like these little pieces, and then BlizzCon happened, which, by the way, I would never have been able to get the film edited. I had 18 terabytes of video files, guys, 18 terabytes.
Wow.
So I shoot this whole thing. I have all this interview footage, and then I'm like, okay, I got to edit this. Like, where does one begin?
You're like, where do I start sifting through all these countless hours of gaming footage and webcam footage and everything
Yeah,
else?
So I looked for an editor in New York City. I was like, I got to find someone who's crazy enough to take on the complexity of MMO gaming and try to and 18 terabytes of video files. Who's going to be brave enough to yeah, that sounds great, and I'm going to do it for free. Who's going to do that? Who actually But I found this guy who his name's Ilya Magazanin. He is incredible, and he just got on board and was like, let's go. And he's such a skilled editor, such an incredible friend. Like, he's really poured his heart into this, and there's no way I could have got even the BlizzCon cut done before that deadline. And we got that FedExed one day. We were editing up until the last second, and So essentially that was the best we could have even dreamed to do by that time with the footage that we had. And then we got back home, and I essentially said, this film deserves so much more. We have so much more to offer. And we just basically hit the studio again, and we're like, let's dig in and, add the sections that are missing that we really feel are important to the conversation of what this is all about, MMO gaming, the complexities, maybe the more typical media side, which is very negative, which was missing from my film in the BlizzCon cut. That side that's what about time management in this type of experience? What about, this question of internet addiction? Where does that fit in the story? And so we began saying, we got to add that stuff in, because I had that footage. It was just a matter of time and work to get it polished and in the right place. So we just went back and worked on it. And at that point, we were like, man, we got to add some really cool music. And so it was this sort of tier where it's like, all of a sudden we're like, we got to do this with cool stuff. And one of my dear friends, Ben Whitman, who is just talented beyond all ends, he essentially was like, I want to write music for your film. And I couldn't believe it. He's like in that talent tier, like above who you would ever think would like work with you. And so he started writing music. So then essentially the answer to your question, Gary, is it was this sort of progressive tier of like, oh my gosh, here's this value add. Like, here's this person who wants to add value to what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm not in a place to turn that down. So
because it's going to add to the overall experience towards the
yeah.
end, and all these people would keep coming out of the woodwork, which would delay the process. But
Right.
you knew in your heart that it would make a better product at the end.
Yeah, and then one more person I really have to say is this guy, David Wilson, who is just a post-production sound mixer who, has won like huge film awards for documentary sound mixing, and he was like, yeah, I want to polish this up, and again, those are things where these guys are working in their off hours, they're professionals at what they do, and they're just volunteering their time, and that's not something I can even pressure. I can't say, guys, the raid.
That's
Let's
really
go.
cool. I mean, so it's like grassroots from start to finish. Started on Kickstarter, starts with the community, MMO fans giving you a couple bucks here and there to get this thing off the ground, and then after that, all these other people from different communities of film and music and all these other things come out of the woodwork to kind of help it along and get it to where it's come today. So. All right, so we're here. We're here with just, I don't know, 15,000 of your closest MMO friends on the chat room. Hi, chat room, and everybody who's watching live. So who do you, now that it's all packaged up and it's ready to go, I mean, like you talked a little bit about saying that, you were trying to sort of explain to maybe the non-MMO player what this experience is like. I mean, do you think that, is your goal to reach an audience of non-MMO players out there, and like, do you think that the film appeals to a non-gamer audience?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from the very beginning, that's always been my vision. I want to do justice. And so here's the problem with a film like this, right? An MMO like WoW is incredibly deep, and the hardcore gamer wants that depth. They want to know the fact that you're going to explain how complicated the strategy of this fight is. Like, they want you to get into the nitty gritty. But and that was a fight that Ilya and I, my editor, really struggled with, was the balance of that, because we, as hardcore MMO players, we care about that. We understand it. Yeah. But that is a little bit better. Yeah, exactly. And that is another tier. That is just like another tier where someone from the outside, they can't even take it in. So the film is very much designed for someone who has no idea what it is to basically get in pretty deep and see the complexity and yet not feel overwhelmed. So that is certainly exactly the I think the through point of what we were trying to accomplish.
What's amazing here is I feel like this is a huge deal. I mean, I got to say thanks to Curse.com, MMO Champion, Typefrag, Kevin for making the film. I mean, I feel like we don't get MMO documentaries every day. This isn't like a subject matter that films
are a plus for the MMO industry, that are a plus.
Yeah, that aren't focused on, internet addiction and all these other things, like totally focusing on that. Like, it's we don't get these every day, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it. I don't know. I kind of feel like this is like the red carpet of a new era. It's like we don't need like Hollywood or you've got this internet red carpet right now with, think about that. I just want to stop for a second and think about it. There's 16,000 people watching this live right now. You could not fit 16,000 people into a movie theater for a world premiere. Could not happen.
Yeah. And be in your pajamas. Yeah, that's like mind-boggling.
Are you nervous? Just a little bit?
I'm so happy, man. This is the right way to share it with the world. I mean, if any film belongs shared this way, this is it.
And it's funny because that's when Kevin first approached me about being part of this as well, and he just sort of said, he's like, this started out with gamers, and it was about the community and about the MMO culture, and he's like, I want that community to be the first to see it, and I think GameBreaker.tv is the perfect vehicle to kind of get it out there into the world. And I was just like, absolutely, man, I want to be a part of this. This is awesome. This doesn't happen every day, and I'm super excited. I think we just got to get going.
Let's watch it.
I got I've got
Nice.
snacks. I've got to get my snacks out. Everybody, you know, you've got your
We need to
popcorn.
find another use for your tinfoil hat.
I do.
Yeah.
Hopefully
That's
Bashiok
awesome.
doesn't strike. I gotta
Yeah,
get this ready. I need some
over here.
popcorn. I got that. I've got drinks over here. I've got some water. I'm good. I'm gonna free up a few resources so we make sure that we get really good frame rates.
Sounds good.
Nice.
I think we're almost ready.
Let's do it.
I can't imagine any other better way to do this. Again, thanks so much, you guys, watching, waiting for the giveaways. All will be revealed in the post show. Stay tuned. We'll be coming up right after we watch it. And with that, guys, I give you. You got anything? You got anything last you want to say, Kevin? Really quick.
Man, thank you, donors. Thank you, Typefrag. Thank you, everyone I mentioned who helped put this together. Ilya, Ben, Stuart, Hugo Creative. You guys are awesome. This is all for the community and everyone who was a part of it. So thanks.
All right, everybody. Without further ado, the raid.
See ya.
World premiere right here on GameBreaker.tv. Enjoy.
How's everybody doing? You guys ready? Okay, well, she's usually late.
Hey guys, I'm here.
You know, there's this unwillingness in our ironic age to say something like, I'm committed to fighting evil. They don't want to come out and say, during the day at work, I push paper around, I send email messages. When I go home at night, I'm a freaking hero, man. And World of Warcraft has become a place for people to be heroes. There's sort of something in there for everyone.
One of the first things I noticed about World of Warcraft was that I had no idea what people were talking about. There's so much jargon.
Aggro.
PvP.
A legendary item.
Instanced dungeons.
Bloodlust.
DPS.
Demon, Spect, Warlocks.
MMORPG.
Well, you mean not everyone knows how MMOs work? That's crazy talk.
So MMORPG is massively multiplayer online role-playing game, which is a big mess of stuff. What does that even mean? In short, you know, an MMORPG is a game where you create an avatar.
I'm Lore. I'm a paladin. I hit things with other larger things.
And it's a game set up so that you'll have a series of adventures, not just by yourself, but with other people online.
The primary goal of the MMO is to make your character the best you possibly can. If you really, really want to be the best at it, you need to join a guild.
A guild is your group of people. It's the people that you play with, generally.
Collective group of people who just sort of band together under the same tag or same name.
I'm in Months Behind. It is a raiding guild.
Raiding. Jeez.
I think in a word, raiding is a sport.
Raiding is getting online with a bunch of other people to kill big bad guys.
Raiding is, I think, just an expression of something that the human race has been very involved in for about 200, 300,000 years, right? The idea of hunting parties.
You could think of it as a bunch of people who are getting together to try to beat an incredibly hard puzzle.
To do this well, everybody usually gets on a program like Ventrilo, which is a voice chat program, and you communicate.
How about the melee debuff? Does it hit harder? Should I be trying to stack it?
Hits a lot harder, yeah.
Let's try and find spots to spread out. In World of Warcraft, there's the game world where everyone plays and interacts.
What can I do for you?
There's different cities, and you go wherever, and there's different places, and there's different places to do quests and all that. And then there's instanced dungeons.
An instance is basically the house of all the bad guys. And it's usually got about 5 to 13 bosses, which are the big bads.
These dungeons, they're called raid dungeons. When you get into raiding, you're stepping up into either groups of 10 or groups of 25 people. The idea is that by working together, you can take on these creatures that you would not be able to take on by yourself or even in a relatively small group. You're helping each other and you're helping kill these tougher and tougher monsters, and thus you get a better reward out of it in terms of loot, experience, quests, that sort of thing. Icecrown was a really good instance, I think.
Icecrown is big, which is cool. And it has lots of bosses, which is also good. Your final goal is to kill sort of the boss of this entire expansion, which is the Lich King. And Icecrown Citadel is sort of his place, that's his house.
The Lich King is the controller of all the undead zombies that are running around the place.
He was a good guy that turned into a bad guy, and now we gotta kill him.
You know, you're kind of building up and going through killing all these bosses like you would in another instance and building up to the very big end, and he's on the very top of the actual place. It's this big frozen column with his throne on the top. It's called the Frozen Throne. And, you know, he's the big epic boss at the very end.
You're going into a giant citadel, and there are all these undead creatures, and you know, you have to sort of fight your way through this big citadel of nastiness.
It's a good balance of fun fights and challenging fights.
This is the beginning and the end, mortals.
So what do I need to know? It's different. I totally didn't get to look into it.
The whirl thing that he does will rape your face off, and he still does the bone spikes in the whirlwind phase.
Okay.
Here we go.
None may enter the master's sanctum.
Yeah, nice one shot, guys.
So Double Dragon is our 10-man group. It's a couple of the officers in Months Behind and some of the older people.
They're all people, for the most part, that I generally enjoy as human beings. It's myself, Malsynth Lore, or Greyhammer, Fair Wards. We're the staples in it. And then we kind of fill in the gaps, and like some people stick, some people don't stick, you know, Curve, Immune.
Ashley, she's a fun player. She's a cool person. She's one of the 2 females in our 10-man group, and which I think is kind of rare.
When I used to try to play like Counter-Strike in high school, if I got on TeamSpeak or something, it would freeze. Everybody would just stop what they're doing and be like, what is that? Did your balls not drop yet? Are you a girl? And it would just be like, it made you feel really awkward and like you didn't really want to play anymore. And it's hard to play very well if you're not communicating via voice chatting, so like I just stopped playing.
I mean, of course there's the stereotype that you know, girls are bad at video games, but Ashley and Fear both break that stereotype for sure.
This is going to sound like a total thing to say, but my experience with female gamers has been there's like 2 scales that they go on, and it's either it's completely binary on the scales. They are either really, really nice or total b****s. And they are either really, really good or complete and totally bad. Every once in a while you come across really, really good, really, really good. And I think Ash and Fear both fill into that category of really good player who's also really, really nice.
In the beginning with World of Warcraft, it was kind of awkward, like, especially in some of my earlier guilds, they'd be like, what, it's a girl? But I think the audience has matured because they've gotten older as the game's gotten older, and people are more used to seeing girls in the game, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Usually it's a sausage fest, so it's nice to have a few females around, even when you're nerding out.
Lore is actually our guild master somehow, by some strange act of fate.
I don't take myself seriously at all. I don't really take anything super, super seriously.
He's not a very guild mastery type of person. Malsynth is our raid leader.
If somebody messes up, he's the one he's very good at He's good at his job. He's got a firm grasp on it.
And over Vent, when he gets angry, his voice cracks and he turns to like a little 10-year-old kid.
Anyway, this is here for the taking, guys. Let's do it right here, right now.
People usually don't know raiding. People don't know what it is. They don't really know why people come back to it, why they're logging on every night.
Your family may never get why you spent so much time defeating the Lich King, but your family may never understand why you collect stamps.
I think it's a much more dynamic hobby than a lot of others because you're interacting with people the entire time, and it's always a little different.
People really like this kind of relaxed entertainment that does stimulate you cognitively, but also has the social component. And I think it's a really powerful combination.
I can throw lightning and I'm a giant green monster? All right, yeah.
I like casting a fireball spell. I like killing.
Killing things is usually the best way to resolve any sort of dispute. That's what I learned from World of Warcraft.
A Dutch play theorist named Johan Huizinga, he thought play was really valuable and important and that it defines what it means to be human. And he wanted to distinguish it from work and family and kind of the ordinary everyday things that we do. And so he has this image of the magic circle. And it's a metaphor. And he said, but when you're within the magic circle, whether you're playing tennis or playing World of Warcraft, you are in a different space. It has its own rules, it has its own customs, it has its own vocabulary.
Hanging out, killing dragons and stuff, it's really fun. You really have to, I guess, experience it.
So there have been a lot of studies about why different kinds of people play these games, and consistently one of the messages is that people seek out gaming to achieve.
I think there's a pride aspect to it. It's I did stuff that other people can't do or other people don't know how to do.
Everyone always loves to achieve goals and to face and defeat challenges. And some of these bosses are very, very, very challenging.
You get cool, flashy titles and stuff that kind of establishes you as, hey, I've accomplished this within the community.
Other people who play WoW will see that and appreciate that, hey, that guy has a frostworm. Okay, he's doing stuff.
That carries a lot of EP-ness, esteem, I guess you could say.
And when there's a big community of people who know what that is and are respected and are trying to achieve it, then it means more. Does everybody know about it? No, but there's a lot of things the world, doesn't know about.
There are actually 10 million people who would think it was pretty cool if you killed a Lich King, and that's probably pretty good.
This is important, damn it.
When you start doing these instances, you're going to be pushing 8-minute encounters, 10-minute encounters, 12-minute encounters.
You've got to get back, you got to buff up, you got to get everybody ready for the pull. So doing one attempt on a boss will sometimes take upwards of 20 to 30 minutes. And sometimes you can get a boss down in 2 or 3 attempts the first time, and sometimes it'll take you just weeks.
It's definitely difficult to work it into a normal life schedule.
Our guild generally raids 4 nights a week, and they're for about 4 hours apiece, so it's about 16 hours.
We would typically do 1 night of DD on 7 weeks, which was another 4 hours, so 20 hours.
Probably 22, 24 hours maybe a week, which sounds like a lot, but there are guilds that do a lot more than we do.
It's not so much the amount of time that you have to spend as it is the specificity of the time that you have to spend. Because it basically means that, in our case, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, you are sitting in front of your computer.
Sometimes, like, someone will call me up and be like, hey, I'm having a party, it's Thursday, Thirsty Thursday, yeah, yeah, and I'll be like, oh, I can't, I'm sorry, I have other plans. Like, I don't normally say, like, I'm raiding, but...
Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it really does suck me away from spending time with my friends.
It's totally stuff that I'm doing because I enjoy it. But it can definitely be a really big struggle to try and fit it in.
World of Warcraft is just so immersive that I love it and hate it at the same time.
A lot of our players play more than that, either doing stuff on alts or doing 10-mans with their mains also, you know, doing stuff like PvP, whatever else it is that you happen to enjoy in the World of Warcraft.
It really boils down to a time management thing. I'll be the first to admit in the past, especially looking at a couple years ago, my time management was horrible and it really suffered.
Definitely, I have seen people who play too much World of Warcraft or, you know, too many other video games, and they're kind of sinking into the comforts of the game and neglecting things they should be doing.
You know, if we're talking about someone who's putting 80 or 90 hours a week into a single game and not having any offline contacts, I would call that problematic media usage. And I wouldn't care if that was television, games, the board game Monopoly, going to the track, betting on horses. That's all, you know, problematic usage of time.
I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that my school suffered a little bit because of it, and my health as well. Like, I've gained probably 30 pounds since I started playing WoW. That's 5 years, but still, I mean.
Anything that gives pleasure always has that element of danger, and I do think, yeah, there's danger.
If people are worried about their friends or their family or playing MMOs because they think they're gonna be negligent, it's a legitimate concern.
There are definitely some things that people can get addicted to, like within the community, you can better your character, you can better your status in the game, and I guess some people take that a little too far.
For me, it's pretty serious. Like, I stopped playing pool, which I play a lot of pool.
I mean, I did have that problem where I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm not logged in, I'm not doing something, I'm not, you know, I could be missing out on something awesome.
Addiction's like a personality disorder, and if you're gonna be addicted to the internet, you would probably be addicted to something else if that was what was there. So I don't think the internet does anything to cause addiction, but it's just a vehicle that some people's addictions use.
I know a lot of people don't talk about it because they don't want people to know, and I think that's the easiest way to get caught into doing it poorly.
There is a moral universe, at least in the guilds that I've been in, where people do say, you're playing too much, back off.
We support people to, you know, take time off if they're getting, you know, if they're getting too stressed with something or they're just really burnt out on the game. We encourage them to take time off because we want them to be there having fun and happy with what they're spending their time doing. You know, we don't want people who are there hating life, you know.
I think raiding actually feeds away internet addiction more than anything, because raiding can only be done with when those other people are around, and those other people around are only going to be around that long.
But DD, we kind of go at our own pace and just like to have fun for sure.
We'll end up killing the final bosses maybe like a week or two behind the other guilds, but we'll still have our lives intact afterwards.
I'm actually cutting back from playing. I'm trying to get healthier, eating healthier, being more active.
You kind of realize that these things aren't as important as you initially make them out to be, and some people realize it not as soon as they should, probably.
There's definitely been points where, like, the commitments, they start to feel like they outweigh the benefits from it, but then you get that kill, and you're right back in. You're 100% on board again.
Cellophane, cellophane.
Let's, I think we're set to go. 2, 1.
Guys.
That is awesome.
There's quite a lot of stigma against gamers.
Yeah, I feel like MMOs get a terrible rap, especially in like the media. They're like, oh, somebody went and killed somebody for stealing an item from them, like in real life, which like maybe happened once in history.
It just doesn't seem socially acceptable at this point.
Given the stigma that's out there, I can understand why people are reluctant to say, you know, I'm a gamer.
If someone surfs, for example, as their hobby, like that's what they do, and they're applying for a job, they can say that they surf and it's socially acceptable, and they'll probably get along with their employer very well. But it's different with gaming.
We tend to associate people who spend their lives playing games, you know, with all kinds of personality disorders.
That's what lonely kids play when they don't have any friends.
Pimple face.
A basement-dwelling nerd.
Don't have any friends.
You're a loser.
Sweaty guys in their mother's basement.
Never socialize.
I know obviously it's not the case, because that's still a stereotype about WoW, and I'm not an old sweaty guy in my mother's basement.
They'll lump you in with the guys that just like know life it, like that just play the game 24/7 and just try to live their life in game.
Those people are there, I'm not gonna lie, like those people exist, and there's a reality too when you play MMO that a lot of people aren't gonna have very good social skills. Not all of them, but generally speaking, I think that's a fair assumption.
They're just a negative stereotype, and all MMO gamers are really lumped in with them, and it's pretty unfair.
I know why I do it. I don't really feel like every time I should explain to people that, you know, raiding isn't like this crazy antisocial thing that you're sitting in a room with, you know, all the lights off, just playing this game night after night after night.
It's a very social game, and there's tons of people who are completely normal. Most of the people who play, like, you wouldn't say, that guy totally plays WoW when he goes home. Like, that's not what it is. A lot of people have kids, there's couples who play, there's, like, surgeons who play, firefighters. One of our guild members is a member of the DEA. He fights drug crime, basically. He got shot. Like, people are completely normal.
There is a grandfather with 5 grandkids in my guild, and he's a really good mage.
Like anything else where there's a huge category, I mean, there's, what, 6-7 million people playing WoW, maybe more, I don't really know. You're gonna get every spectrum, everything.
The demographics indicate not only, you know, a lot more people, but a much more varied group of people.
I hope that we don't still continue to look at people who play video games and say, oh, you're a loser, you know, why don't you have any friends? I think that's a generational thing, and that will just heal itself over time.
People who don't know much about games would do well to start thinking of this again as an incredibly intense multiplayer sport.
Let's go do Rat Face.
And when you've got people doing things like killing the Lich King, you're talking about World Cup championship level achievements. I imagine in a generation or two, there will be gray-haired old men who have screenshots, you know, up on the wall of being one of the first to defeat the Lich King. And that will be understood by their children and grandchildren. Oh, Papa did that.
Poo tank Rat Face, immune on slimes. Range be spread out. Don't be dumb. Just don't be dumb. Don't be dumb, don't be dumb. Alright, are we ready?
Alright, I'm going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Watch the spread. Ready to move, look for a safe spot. Okay, go. Move.
Raid wall's out.
60% on the first is very nice, keep it up. Vile gap.
Gonna
It's
run
on me.
through a little bit.
Slime. large thing. 7%, finish them all. Yep, get ready to move. Watch the spread. Very nice one shot.
I stood in slime, but it was a decision I had to make in order to save Hammer.
I support this decision.
Doing great, guys. Keep this up.
Gaming is unquestionably it's a valuable thing.
When I talk to people in businesses, you know, I remind them of the fact that many of their 20-somethings view things like killing the Lich King as an important personal achievement. And I think the human resources folks should look carefully at the skill set that's required to do something like that.
It certainly requires a lot of management skills and various other things that you just simply will not develop outside of this unless you're going through corporate training or something like that, or the military.
You have to organize the fights, organize the healers, know what's going on as far as what tanks need to do, what healers need to do. There's a lot of knowledge that you have to have.
The way that you're applying a strategy, or the way that you have these people set up in this way, you're attacking from this side and attacking now and have this many heals, or there's too much damage and you gotta react this certain way. I mean, that's all up to you. Keep this up.
Burn time!
Reggie, get your score. Need some crazy DPS here, so we can do. Deep sleeps. Wonderful job, guys. Beautiful kill.
Many people suspect that a lot of our facility with language comes from the need to be able to communicate during these hunting expeditions.
Let's kill hard princes. We can totally do hard princes.
Those princes are rock hard right now, though. Just rock hard.
That's a very interesting way to phrase that.
I'm very tired.
Vent is kind of a mess a lot of the time.
Let's hurry up and kill these birds, and then the stupid princes, and then the stupid bitch, and then save the bitch, and then kill the other bitch, and then... Oh boy, that's way too much bitches.
My queen, they come.
You have made an unwise decision.
We've got the power. F all you guys. I just want a new weapon.
We are not very nice to each other because being rude is always more fun, I think. Like, just being a is always the more entertaining way to present yourself.
Hey, I've tanked this fight once. Eat my
You do have people in the trade channel saying racist things, using really coarse language for no reason.
3150 bonus damage? You can suck my balls.
You're in the luxury of home, and we can kind of just react to things however we want. We can yell and be weird and say the strangest things, and only like 9 other people on this online chat are hearing us. It's really weird. Like, we can say whatever we want.
Hey, you, hey, oh, whoa, look at this guy. You, man. Oh, whoa, you guy, whoa.
I don't think anybody talks a lot on Vent besides, you know, Greyhammer, Lore, and those guys. Like, they just control Vent, really. Can't get a word in over those guys.
I can be pretty offensive to most people because I say a lot of terrible.
Greyhammer is kind of a Let's be honest.
Your roommate doesn't know. Oh wait, actually he does know, but only you're because he's a for you. Ah.
I think if you learn to take everything he says with a grain of salt, he's actually pretty funny. But that's asking a lot from somebody sometimes.
He will find a way to make his sentence the most angry it can possibly be. Like, you can ask him what he wants to drink, and he'll be like, you, Dr. Pepper.
There's one thing I'd say about Lore, he's kind of retarded. Functionally retarded, but retarded nonetheless. And a retard's job, their one job, is to not look creepy. And he fails at that job every single day. I'm an equal opportunity sort of person. I'll make a joke about anything.
Hammer is a kitten cuddly person at the core. Like, he is not a mean or harmful person.
I think everybody in our group is kind of likes to make fun of each other, likes to make fun of other people, that kind of thing.
Alright, note to self, don't compliment anybody in the guild. Noted.
Yeah, don't do anything like that. That's not.
Why would you say nice things about this bunch of stupid douchebags?
We kind of like rag on each other and tease each other, but it's all in good fun.
And that's how we sort of keep each other in line, is just be jerks to each other. But we're all nice and warm and fuzzy.
What the f is damn it, I hate you people.
Whoa.
Are we ready?
There's only a few bosses in there that are actually like real ball busters, and the rest of them, even on heroic mode, we plowed through. I remember the first night we were like 8 of 12 and 10 man. We were like, okay, well, this is gonna be a quick run, and then we got to Sindragosa and she started raping us.
Putricide was one that was a challenge to us for no good reason in both normal and heroic, and in both 10 and 25.
You set? Let's do it.
All right, counting down. 3, 2, 1.
Putricide's tough. I mean, he's a tough fight to get used to. But I do remember being stuck on that guy for a while.
There's a lot going on there. He just throws slime on the ground. He also puts down these bombs that explode. He also throws these things that these other oozes that also bounce. There's a lot of goo and ooze in this wing. Spearmint coming up, ready to kill green. Comes orange, ready to kill it.
I'm supposed to slow 3 things around.
Why did we? We're wiping. Something weird happened there. It's very, very complex in how it specifically works. Be spread out. Let's count it down.
Oh, bombs in phase 2. That's why I should.
That's what I said like 15 times.
Boss to 82 and then stop.
We sort of got through the transition.
Let's count it down.
Right,
I'm really
Get
lucky.
moving. Stop on the boss. Stop on the boss. Reggie, what the F happened there, man?
What just happened? Anyway, I'm counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2.
That was really, really frustrating.
We ready?
When are we going till?
Till we kill it.
Please, let's just kill it.
Let's do it, guys. Come on. Lots of deeps, but not too much deeps, big dummies. We've been real close for many attempts now. Let's bring it home, guys. Careful, Eric.
Watch.
Push the boss. Orange is on Erg. After this, jump back on the boss. Fight starting fresh, plus bombs, plus Malibu goo. Just working like clockwork, guys. Keep this up.
Go, go, go.
There we go.
Very nice.
If you've ever had a group achievement that is sort of beyond what any other group has achieved, you know, that's a special sort of bonding that you acquire with those people.
I actually like the social aspect where you're getting together with other gamers and coordinating and doing one thing with one set goal and trying to get that done as well as possible.
And that's one of the things I think is really cool about raiding. It's not a bunch of people trying to tear each other down. It's a bunch of people trying to work together in order to solve a problem. And I find that very encouraging.
You feel like you've not only done something wonderful just as a person, but also you've been accepted and enmeshed in a very tight, close community of trust.
Thing is, I mean, I would have stepped away a long time ago if it wasn't for my commitment to this group of people.
It's unfortunate when people assume that it is about the game, because really it's about your friendships. That's 100% what it is.
This kind of thing is really breaking some boundaries in terms of how humans connect and what kind of communities we form.
You are fools who have come to this place! The icy winds of Northrend will consume your souls!
I don't think there's anybody in DD who's like, oh man, I love Cinder Ghost, so we're all just kind of like, oh, I hate this fight.
Oh my god. Was that me or you guys?
Did I kill everybody?
It's pretty frustrating because there's a lot of random RNG, random number generators, which basically means it's completely random who gets screwed and who doesn't get screwed.
It will ruin my brain.
Someone here complaining about.
Oh God, yeah, that's definitely, everybody hates that fight.
What is, don't attack. What is that? Come on.
I can't do anything about that, so I'm just not gonna attack them, so it's on you guys.
Of all things to fail to, dude, that's not cool.
There's just so much frustrating that can happen on that fight.
Like, we're regressing at this point, and I'm tired.
I absolutely hate that.
This is going to be impossible, yeah.
Yes. Okay, we just had, like, massive fail.
So
Hit us
sorry.
now. That's not cool, guys. Not cool at all. It's stupid and annoying, but we gotta deal with it every single pull. Fight is gonna be about 10 minutes every single pull.
You start out wiping to just dumb like that, like it doesn't have anything to do with anything. And then people start to like morale starts to drop. Everybody's starting to get really tired of the fight.
Sorry again, guys.
I would like to be done.
Well, we need to kill this at some point.
We've been raiding it for so long, we're so sick of it.
You can do it right here, right now, guys. About damn time, guys.
I spend a lot of time with these guys, so I definitely call them friends.
If for some reason just everybody that was in Months Behind just suddenly wasn't around, you know, I don't know what I would do. A lot of them are really, really good friends of mine. A lot of them are confidants.
Humanity lost the village about 100 years ago, and villages are actually pretty important to the way we are built. So from an evolutionary perspective, you know, we need to raise our children in villages. That's kind of how we're supposed to be doing this.
People do raid with are good people to raid with. They're hilarious, entertaining. If they were boring and obnoxious, no way, forget it. I'm not gonna do it.
When I think about a guild, a powerful raiding guild, you know, it strikes me as a replacement for the fellowship of a bunch of people who really would like to be living in a village together.
Everything is built in an MMO like WoW for that to happen. I feel like it's a good breeding ground for an active community.
Without WoW, I still have the community. Without the community, I don't know if I'd have WoW.
Okay, it appears that everyone is here. Can we begin the evening's festivities?
The Lich King, yeah. He is a son of a.
The Lich King is by far the hardest fight that Blizzard ever put in the game.
He drops these terrible things called shadow traps. He does lots of frost damage. You have to dispel a disease. You have to kill spirits. There's his Valkyrs.
So, it's an insanely difficult fight.
And then at 10%, he just decides that he can actually kill everyone in one shot, so he kills everybody in the entire raid.
And since everybody knows this happens naturally and vent every single time, they're like, oh, we wiped. Why'd you do that, Fear Wards? Lore, you guys are terrible. You ruined this fight. Even though everybody knows that's actually not what happened.
Lich King is sort of an epic boss. He's like the bad guy of bad guys. And like you're just 10 nobodies.
That's the end point. That's the goal. That's the goal of the entire game, is to kill the final boss.
The amount of time we spent on that boss.
There's a reason why, I think, they psychologically seek out an environment where they can be, committed with other people towards achieving a quest, basically becoming a hero. Mainstream society has been telling us for decades, in sort of an ironic voice, there's no big issue, there's no heroism, there's nothing to that. Maybe there is something to it, and people are attached.
Is there anything you want to say to the rest of the crew in Double Dragon or anything?
Guys, suck it up. We need to kill the Lich King.
We can do this. Let's stop sucking.
Come then, champions. Feel your rage. When my work is complete, you will beg for mercy.
We got it this time, guys. This guy.
Unmute, watch it.
Gonna get one more trap.
5 seconds. Defile and then Valak. Push.
Kill it.
Harvesting in 3.
Careful.
Boss is 17.
Holy. 2%. Fire everything. Nuke the boss.
Coming up.
Go. 0.6. Get a Karza. Push it.
There.
Do it.
Oh my god, yes, you mother piece of N-word.
Light, grant me one final blessing. Give me the strength to shatter these bonds.
Hey, guys, we're there.
Where'd you wait?
I can't believe we wiped it 10%, guys.
We
I
wiped
can't
it
believe
10%, you
we
son
wiped
of
it 10%.
Soul belongs to the Lich King, guys. I'm sorry.
Rise up, champions of the light! The Lich King must fall!
Damn. Achievement
Yeah.
spam.
Yes!
Achievement.
Oh god, I'm gonna crash.
Let's go do Heroic Ruby Sanctum. Should be cake with this group.
I'd like for everyone to stick around, but I don't know that everyone's going to still be raiding in Cataclysm. I know Mal is pretty burnt out on the game. I know Hammer is pretty burnt out on the game. So the future of Double Dragon is uncertain.
We need to take a screenshot. We need a screenshot.
There you have it, the world premiere of the Raid documentary. Everybody, let's give a little bit of a round of applause. Chat room, give a round of applause as a standing ovation of the virtual, red carpet premiere. So there it is, Kevin, out in the world. It is live. 19,000 of your best buddies, your friends, your MMO compadres have now seen what you've been working on for so long. How do you feel, buddy?
I feel relief. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so glad that we're here. So I hope people enjoyed it. It's been fun to share it finally. So,
Mike, you've loosened up a little bit. Is it like post show already? You took the tie off. You're just ready. You're ready to party. You're ready popping champagne and drinking. You're just like, woo, let's go.
After seeing the BlizzCon version, and then seeing this one, it's just kind of like, wow, this is it's time to go and drink now. I'm glad that finally is all done and over with.
It has. It's really grown from what we saw a year ago. A lot longer than it was a year ago. Mm-hmm. Like you were talking about before, a lot of new stuff put in there. So where does it go from here? Actually, let me do quick plugs. Really, a lot of people in the chat room probably don't know what's going on with the raid and what's happening with it. If you're just tuning in now and you may have missed it, we're actually going to be posting it on GameBreaker.tv, and it will be live for the next 72 hours. You only have 3 days, people, to actually catch the downloadable version or the viewing post this live show of the Raid documentary. So right after this, we'll get working on it as fast as possible and get it up there as quickly as we can for you to watch it for 3 days. So go over to GameBreaker.tv and we'll be there for 3 days. And of course, we don't want to forget these amazing giveaways coming up courtesy of Typefrag. We'll have some information for you really soon. Just stay tuned for that. Tease. Yeah. Got to keep around. Got a Doghouse computer PC up for grabs. Got some gaming headsets and some Ventrilo servers. And there's a post after party. So where the really cool kids hang out. So stay tuned for that. Kevin, where does the film go for now? Now it's out there. You've world premiered it. You've shown it live. We're only letting it out there for 3 days, or you're only letting it out for 3 days. Where does it go after that? What's happening with it?
Yeah. So. Obviously, the goal is to get it in front of, in my opinion, as many people who don't know what this is as possible. So non-gamers, that type of thing. So that involves trying to put it in familiar channels where people can access this kind of thing. So so we've been looking at distribution. We, it's been an interesting journey for me as far as that goes. I had a pretty big distribution house contact me and want to potentially put it out, and went through a little bit of a back and forth about that, honestly, because this has been a crowdsourced, community-funded effort, and I struggled with what exactly was the right thing to do, and in the end, what I've done essentially is just basically put it up on iTunes. There's still some processing left to go. It'll be on iTunes probably in maybe a week or two. So I can definitely keep people posted on that. But it's also currently up on Amazon's Create Space. So if you want to buy a DVD of it, it's actually available right now. You can head over to, I believe it's bit.ly/join the raid is sort of the URL shortening that I have for it.
All lowercase, because that's important.
Yep, all lowercase, bit.ly/join the raid. You can get a DVD there. It's got obviously the whole film. It's in standard definition, right? DVDs are standard definition. Know that. But iTunes will be high def when it gets out there, so that you can expect that, so you can watch it, in full high definition there, 1080p.
Gotcha. So standard def DVD right now available on the link on the bottom there, bit.ly/join the raid. Head on over there to pick up a copy of the DVD. So after this long endeavor, you think you have any more aspirations to make the Raid 2 or any more video game related documentaries, or what do you think?
Honestly, this was supposed to be kind of like a beginning project, a project that was going to maybe kick off another larger project. But this project sort of morphed into a larger project. So
Well, this was supposed to be a 10-minute short, right?
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, exactly. 10 minutes short, right? So I definitely have more in me, I believe. Currently, I actually am working. I got hired as a part of the community team for 38 Studios, which is obviously a developing video game developer company, putting out some incredible games. They're doing some amazing stuff right now. And part of my job is actually going to be producing video assets for them, both on their single-player RPG coming up and their MMO, codenamed Copernicus, that's coming out. We haven't really talked about it when it's coming out, but you'll probably be hearing more about that at some point in the future.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you were to do something else, do you think you would keep it around raiding? Would we see the Raid 2, do you think? Or do you think you'd move on to some other sort of cultural aspect of video games? Or
Yeah, I have this huge vision. If someone wants to fund with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, if you're out there, I obviously would love to capture in real time the journey of guilds across the world for this idea of World First. It would be so cool to watch, a guild like Premonition and a guild like Paragon and a guild like Stars, going through that 2-3 weeks of hardcore, cutting edge progression at the same time. Do it like almost like a day by day thing. And
like a
see their
competition
lives.
almost, right?
Yeah, but that would take 3 different crews, in different countries. Manage. I mean, that's that's the problem. I set the bar so high for myself when I think about these things. But if I did something else with raiding, it would have to be that big. It would have to be like capturing the progression of multiple guilds to achieve World First and synergizing that to like an approachable way. So,
well, if you're out there and you're rich and you've got millions of dollars and you love World of Warcraft, get in touch with Kevin.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to bring in our very own Josh Allen, a.k.a. Lore, Mr. Man with
bring him on.
Bring him on. Talk a little bit about
Halo hair.
Yeah, Mr. Halo
Love
hair.
it.
Yeah, when you get that backlighting, you really can appreciate it in its full.
Mike, you mind if I drop you for resources?
Sure.
All right, man.
Let's say bye.
You can say bye, sort of.
Bye.
You're
Chat
kind of
room.
there.
AKA Mike B.
There you
I'll
go.
see you guys.
Look at him plugging. Let me just get this.
There he is.
How can I remove this? There we go. Oh, you're a little low, but I'll fix you there. Let me fix these cameras really quick. Josh Allen, a.k.a. Lore, tankspot.com, of course, and also Legendary and GameBreaker.tv. So, Lore, what did you think? What did you think when Kevin first approached you seriously about being in a documentary? Did you realize what it was actually going to be like? Oh, have no audio. Don't hear you. No audio. Try. Yeah, there you go.
Better now?
Turn the mic on. That's awesome, buddy. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Fantastic.
So what was it like?
Yeah. Well, when we were first talking about it, like he said before the show, it was just in this private forum on TankSpot. We were kind of just talking about the documentary and everything, and he was like, "Man, I'm really trying to get a group together so I can film this short film to pitch to other people about the ideas of doing a full-length documentary." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. We'll do that. No problem. Let me talk to my 10-man group." And they were already kind of used to having their names thrown out just because I'd been doing raid guides and stuff. So people see their names in the combat log or on raid frames or whatever. So they're already kind of used to having their names out there. So yeah, sure, no problem. We'll do something like that. It's just like a 10-minute short, right? Just to pitch the idea of a documentary to other people.
You're like, this is easy. We'll record for maybe Monday through Wednesday and we're done. We'll wrap this thing up and we're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. No problem. Yeah, and then it kind of just kept growing from there. And as we kept, we were going through the documentary and we were working on it, it was man, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit everything I need into 10 minutes. Maybe I'll have to do a 20-minute thing. And we just kept going. We just kept getting longer and longer. And then we had the thing at BlizzCon in 2010 where there was the whole pre-screening everything. And we were still man, because that one was what, 35 minutes long, something like that?
I think it was 26.
26.
Yeah.
Either way, it was not as long as the one we just aired.
No.
And even then, we were all right, well, this has got to be bigger than this. It's just one of those things that just kept growing and just had to be bigger than what we were trying to make it into.
So how long? So what was it like? How many days a week did you actually have to record yourself? It was every one of your raids 4 days a week recorded on webcam.
The way we recorded it, we recorded it way back during the Ice Crown Citadel days, towards the end of Wrath of the Lich King. And at the same time, like, we were working on 25-man heroic modes. We couldn't get the entire 25-man group to be interested in it. It would have just been this huge logistical nightmare anyway. But at the same time, we had a 10-man group that was working through heroics, and that was what we were focusing on. That 10-man group was only 1 or 2 nights a week. So it was interesting. It was just those couple of nights every week that we just like, well, guess I got to turn on my webcam, and Kevin was always there, right, in vent, like, hey guys, don't forget, turn on your webcams.
Remember, we got a film to make here, and you guys are like, yeah.
Exactly.
What did the rest of your guildies think? Did they realize, like, you know, what this was turning into, or how big this could possibly be?
We didn't really talk about it too much because it was like just kind of this thing. Oh yeah, this guy, friend of Lore's, is trying to make a documentary. Whatever, we'll just turn on our webcams, no problem. And it wasn't something that we really like went out. It wasn't something that we really were like, yeah, this is going to be a full-length feature documentary or anything like that. And a lot of them, like, still up until like maybe a couple weeks ago, like, links started showing up and things started showing up on MMO Champion, like, we're gonna have this full premiere. Everyone was like, wait, we're gonna be on MMO Champion?
With 19,000 people watched it live. Like I said, you couldn't fit 19,000 people in any theater anywhere for a premiere. This is like this is like film premiere of the future right here. Why even do it? Like, why even have some red carpet thing? Screw that. Just do it online with GameBreaker.tv.
I got to say something about this, Gary. So, like, it's interesting, you know, what Laura's saying is exactly true. And I cannot credit Double Dragon, the 10-man team from Months Behind, enough for their, like, willingness to follow what I was doing. You know, it started with this webcams thing, and finally I'm like, hey, you know what, guys? Like, I want to come visit you. Like, I want to come to your house, and is that cool? Like,
who's this creepy guy coming with cameras to my house and record me?
Totally. Like, who is this internet dude coming to my house? And you know what? The first person I interviewed, bless her heart, was Julie Fearward. So she was like so brave, right? Like, who's this guy? And but I was so impressed. Everyone just stayed the course, and you know, we knocked each one out slowly but surely. Traveled around the country. Me in my huge light bag. I had like all these bags, just like, I mean, just willpowering through getting it all done. But yeah, it was definitely this like, hey guys, I want to do this now. Is that cool? And you can tell everyone's like, you're not going to be asking if you can come to my family reunion next week.
You're not going to come to our 10-year reunion at school, are you? Like, no, that's okay. We're not going to tell everybody about your internet addiction. Wow, did you, Laura, did you or any of the other people in the group like kind of have any concerns about how you might be portrayed in the documentary? Like, you know, you always hear about like editing can do anything, so they could kind of. Did you guys talk about that at all, or did you kind of not really think too much about it?
We, like I said, it was something that we just kind of, we didn't realize the entire scope of the situation as we were going through it. Like, even afterwards, thank you, by the way, for putting the whole girls in World of Warcraft quote into the actual documentary, Kevin. I really appreciate that. I'm sure I'm going to get emails. But yeah, it was just like we were just kind of coasting along, just going, yeah, whatever, we'll talk to this thing. He's just making this thing so that he can pitch a bigger idea, right? That's not even going to be about us, right? We can do whatever in this whole thing. And it was kind of interesting. I think it ended up making us all extremely candid through the whole thing and just making us really, really open, which honestly I think ended up making the documentary even better than it could have been. Like, if we had known at the time that this was going to end up, I mean, obviously we knew before now that it was going to end up being the full feature thing. But if we had known at the time that this was going to be what was streamed live in front of almost 20,000 people, I think when we were getting interviewed, we'd just been like, I like to raid.
You'd just be like all wise over, like, oh my God, hello, hello.
I'm on the internet.
What's going on with Double Dragon and Months Behind since this production is wrapped up?
Well, the sad thing about Double Dragon itself is that it ended up being a good choice for the game, but once Cataclysm came out, Blizzard actually now shares the lockouts between 10 and 25 man, so we actually just can't have our own 10-man group anymore, which was kind of sad because I really do miss being able to just have that really, really tight-knit core group of people just once or twice a week. We're still doing alt raids every once in a while, but not everybody from the same group is there. Most of the people who are in the documentary are still part of our 25-man raids, though. Erg is still there, Greyhammer's still there, Curver's still there, Immune is still there. Honestly, I think the only person who's really moved on from the guild now is Ashley, and that was like mostly because of a scheduling conflict. Like, we wanted to raid 4 days a week, she could only make 3, so that she just couldn't make our times anymore. So yeah, it's just.
And Kevin, I assume you went with Double Dragon and not Months Behind mainly because just 25 people would have been absolutely insane.
Yeah, 10 was crazy. I know, and believe me, those of you out there who are watching, I love hardcore gamers. Like, I get it. Like, if I could have done this with 25-man raids, I would have done it. Believe me, it's just. Yeah, it's hard to explain exactly how difficult the last year and a half has been to do this. It's really been a challenge, and I can't take all that credit myself, but it has been a challenge to just get it done. So I would love to do that. I'd love to capture all those nuances, the complexity of that number of people. But yeah, 10 was daunting enough, and I'm glad I didn't push myself to do anything more. But like Noah was saying, like. It was such this gradual growth of and development that I don't know. I just don't know how it would have worked with 25. Having 10 that I could convince, hey, this is a good idea. I promise, it's a good idea.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. And how many times, even just with 10 people, were you like, hey, did you send your hard drives out yet? And someone's like, oh, no, I forgot about it. And you're like, well, I needed them 2 days ago. And we're just like, you didn't send your hard drives out? Why? What are you doing here, man? And then like trying to organize like FTP, like we got to get this webcam footage to him because he actually it's premiering in like a week at BlizzCon. He needs all this stuff. Oh man.
Yeah, I remember at BlizzCon, I think you were saying like the copy that they actually played at BlizzCon had actually been FedExed to you that day. I think, or something like that. You were waiting for it, just like to the last second of an edit and like getting things running. Well, there it is. It's now out. It's now live. That is the final cut. You're not doing anything with it. You're now happy with it, and this is it. It's good to go, right?
This is the final cut.
We're not gonna do the post world premiere next 2012 BlizzCon,
Absolutely.
are we? No.
This is it. This is it. It's going to iTunes. It's done. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
And then in 10 years, you can pull a George Lucas and remaster the sound or something.
There you go.
Just release it on
Laserdisc
or something.
Just make sure you edit out the line about girls and with Laura and female gamers. Laura, after doing this experience, would you be a part of another documentary about video games, World of Warcraft, or anything like that in particular?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, totally. It was a great experience for me. All I had to do was turn on my webcam and send mail every once in a while. I wasn't actually working too hard on that. So yeah, totally. No, it was amazing. I mean, I'm already somebody that kind of spends a lot of time in front of like people anyway. It really the other people in the group, I think, were the real heroes here because they were the people that were not at all even remotely used to something like having a webcam and talking to it and then sending that out, or like
were you coaching them
up at their house?
Were you coaching them at some point? Were they like, I don't know how to do this, it feels weird, and you're just like, just
a little bit. I was always like, there's gonna be people on the comments, there's gonna be people in the chat, they're just angry, you'll get over it, just don't.
We love you, internet. We love you.
I love 99.9% of the internet.
It wouldn't be the same with that if that 1% didn't complain.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time to tell some folks how to win some stuff. What do you guys think? You want to do it? Yeah. All right, people, this is how it's going to go down. Ready? This is what you're going to do. First of all, a lot of new viewers here who don't know who we are. I am Gary Gannon. This is GameBreaker.tv hosting the event. I'm very pleased to be here. So if you don't know who we are, come over to GameBreaker.tv, of course. Follow us on Twitter at GameBreakerTV. And also come to Facebook.com/GameBreakerTV. We produce a lot of video game-related internet television shows. World of Warcraft, Machinima, Blizz Blues, the best World of Warcraft Machinima on planet Earth, as well as a show called Legendary. It's an hour-long show every single week with our very own Josh Allen and Mike Beek, a.k.a. Phony. So come on over. We got a lot of other shows. Check it out, GameBreaker.tv. I want to really quickly say thank you so much to Curse.com and MMOChampion.com for being a part of this event And just thank you so much. Brought a lot to the table. Big supporters of the film for a long time. So curse.com, MMO champion. And I got to say thank you so much to Typefrag. Typefrag, all the giveaways are courtesy of Typefrag. So if you need a Ventrilo server, you know where to go. You got to go over to typefrag.com. And if you want to win a Doghouse computer, yes, PC, possibly, I think, what is it, 5 headsets? 5 high-quality, amazing gaming headsets, and they're going to be giving away a bunch of Ventrilo servers. Here's what you got to do. Head on over to typefrag.com/join the raid right now. There you go. There's the URL. Don't worry. It's going to be up for 3 days. We're leaving it up for all of you guys who weren't able to catch the live stream. So for the next 3 days, while the raid event is still available on GameBreaker.tv, you can go over to typefrag.com/join the raid, enter your information there to be possibly a winner of a Doghouse computer or one of these high-quality gaming headsets. Also, you will notice on the right side of the page that there is a Ventrilo server set up. Yes, that is where the after Cool Kids party is. Kevin Michael Johnson will be there, hanging out with you guys in the Ventrilo server. Go over there, sign up, put your name in. Hopefully you win. We will announce the winners next week on Legendary, on GameBreaker.tv. So just tune in to Legendary to find out if you won. And go over to Ventrilo right now and hang out at the Cool Kids after party. Kevin, thanks so much. Amazing job. So glad to be a part of something like this. You know, this doesn't happen every day for the MMO community, and I'm just glad that we were to be a part of it and release it out, help you in a little way, push it out into the world and get everybody to see it. So thank you.
My thanks to you guys for sure, and Typefrag, of course, such a huge support to me all along the journey. And of course, Curse as well for helping us put it on MMO and just get it out there for the world to see. So,
Josh Allen, thank you so much for being part of GameBreaker.tv and the amount of the godlike light that beams from the backlight in the documentary through your hair is so amazing. It's just
if I get close enough here, it just kind of
just gleaming through and shining through the hair. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It was like a religious experience when I first saw it at BlizzCon 2010. It really did. I almost just, beside myself. That is it. I am Gary Gannon. This is GameBreaker.tv. Come on over every single week for all of our other shows, and we will see you this week. I'm going to throw some reruns up for you guys, and have a great week. And that's it. Kevin Michael Johnson. There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Head over to the Ventrilo server. Last one, there it is. That's the wrong one. That's the buy. Typefrag.com/join the raid. Head on over there right now. That is how you sign up to win. All right, guys. Have a great week.
See ya.